Good day, future engineers. Today we are going to solve the previously uploaded practice problems and in relation to the topics on the discounted payback and the benefit cost ratio. There are a total of 15 problems and we are going to solve it by phase. As you have noticed, the problems were progressive in difficulty, and we are going to start with the easiest, and the last one would be moderately difficult to a difficult problem. So let's start first with our first scenario or case. We have a city government and is considering the following proposals. We have four proposals here. The first one is a drainage improvement in Barangay San Isidro. And the second proposal, we have the street lighting along a national road. And then for the third, we have a three possible alignments for one new bridge. And lastly, we have a two possible pavement materials for the same road section. Now, in this specific start, we are asked to classify each item or proposal as either independent or mutually exclusive. And let's recall what do we mean when we say independent or mutually exclusive alternatives or projects. When we say independent, that means that the acceptance or the rejection of that specific proposal or project doesn't have an effect to the other proposals. That's why it is independent. Whereas when we say mutually exclusive, what happens here is that if you choose an alternative, the rest would be rejected. So think of this as that independent. It means that if you choose one, you may as well choose the other. Just like ordering in the Jollibee. You may order C1 and then afterwards you may order the spaghetti. Those choices are independent because the acceptance or rejection of one does not constitute or does not define the acceptance or rejection of the other. Now, for mutually exclusive alternatives, think of this as like enrolling to a specific program. The moment that you have already chosen, let's say you have three programs in mind that you'd like to pursue, such as civil engineering, or let's say you'd like to pursue psychology, and let's say chemistry. So we have a three programs here, but the moment you select or choose one, the rest will be excluded. Say you have already chosen civil engineering, you chose to enroll in civil engineering, that means that you cannot enroll to the other programs. And this is an example of mutually exclusive alternatives. Now let's see and let's classify each item whether they are independent or mutually exclusive. Let's start first with the drainage improvement in Barangay San Isidro. So we have a proposal of drainage improvement in Barangay San Isidro. Does acceptance of the drainage improvement also define the acceptance or rejection of the other alternatives? Now, if you look closely here, if we construct the drainage improvement, if we pursue with this one or not, the others will not be affected. Therefore, the first one is independent. The second one also exhibits similar pattern. The second one, whether we pursue with the street lighting along the national road or not, the rest will not be affected. Therefore, the second one is also independent. Now, how about for the third one? We have three possible alignments for one new bridge. We have a single bridge project and we have three possible alignments. Now, if you choose one alignment, one of the three possible alignment for one new bridge, that means that the rest will be excluded or rejected. So this is an example of a mutually exclusive proposal. This is mutually exclusive because you have just a single project and This single project has three possible alignments, and when you already choose one, the rest will be rejected. Same as well for the fourth one, we have two possible pavement materials for the same road section. We have the same road section, one section, and we have two possible pavement materials, and then you just choose one of this. This is also an example of a mutually exclusive project. Okay, let's move on to our second problem. Now, uh, this one here asks us to solve for the average annual increase rate. So let's read the problem first. We have a bag of cement and the cost today is 270 pesos. After 3 years, the expected price will rise to 330 pesos. Determine the implied average annual increase. So actually, if you draw this into a cash flow diagram, the bag today will cost 270 pesos, and in the future, it will cost 330 pesos. If you as you can see, there is 1% and also one future. This means that this is an example of our single payment problems. So we just use the compound interest. F is equal to the present times 1 plus I raised to n. In this problem, our future amount is 330 pesos and the present amount is 270 pesos. And we are asked to find the average annual increase rate. We have our n is 3 for 3 years. Assuming that this is compounded annually, that's why our n is 3 years. So we have 330, we have as well 270 times 1 plus I raised to 3. Now we just divide the whole equation with the present. So this will become 1 plus I raised to 3 is equal to 330 over 270. And to remove this exponent here, we extract the whole equation, the cube root of the whole equation. So on the left hand side, this will become 1 plus I, while on the right hand side, that will become 1.0692. And then we transpose the 1, our interest or the increase rate becomes 0.0692 annually or 6.92%. This is just a basic application of our single payment formula or the compound interest formula, where instead that we the problem usually asks us for the future amount or the present amount, this problem was asking for the increase rate, and that is the I. Now let's move on to our third problem. As you can see, the progression of our problem starts from the very simple and very easy and to a higher level of a bit of higher difficulty level. Now for our third problem, we have a barangay footbridge. The barangay footbridge has a present worth of public benefits of 18 million and a present worth of cost of 14.5 million. Now, when dealing with worded problems, you need to take note of the given quantities. We have 18 million pesos and as well we have a 14.5 million pesos. Next is we need to identify what does the 18 million and the 14.5 million pesos indicates. The 18 million pesos is the benefit of the project. And when we say benefit, we are talking about inflows. So the 18 million is the inflow. And then the other one, the 14.5 million, is the cost or the outflow. Next is we are going to determine the what is the time of the benefit, the timing. And if you look previously in this problem, the benefit, this 18 million benefit is actually the equivalent present worth. It means that this is the equivalent benefit when the time or the at the year zero. Now, how about for the cost? The 14 point, we all have already know that the 14.5 million is the cost. But what is the timing? This is at the present. So this is the equivalent present worth of the cost, and it means that this is at year zero. And then we are asked what does this problem requires us to do? We are asked to find the benefit cost ratio and then decide whether the project is economically justified. So the benefit cost ratio is just the ratio of the benefit and the cost. That's why it was called the benefit cost ratio. So we have the present worth of our benefit over the present worth of our cost. The present worth of the benefit is 18 million and the present worth of the cost is 14.5 million. No need to write all the zero because all of the quantities are in million. Therefore, this can be cancelled. And as well the peso sign. So we just divide them. 18 divided by 14.5. We have a benefit or the benefit cost ratio equal to 1.241. Now, will we accept the project or not? If our benefit cost ratio is greater than 1, it means that the benefits is greater than the cost. And with that, we are to accept the project. Since our benefit cost ratio here is greater than 1, this simply means that our benefit is greater than the cost, and therefore the project is justified or economically justified.